Hey everyone, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with my February wrap-up. February went about as well as I thought it would, in that I did not get a lot of reading done. My mom and stepdad ended up coming, I think they arrived on the 11th, and then I went into labor on Valentine's Day and then spent 4 days in the hospital. And then the rest of the month was kind of just adjusting to life with a newborn. And so I did not get a lot of reading done, which is fine. I knew that that was how the month was going to go. I knew that I had a really ambitious February TBR, all things considered. So I'm not like upset or like disappointed by any means, because I feel like I still did pretty good. Given all of those circumstances, I feel like February went pretty okay, all things considered. So I ended up completing 5 books in the month of February. I did also read a good chunk of another book, but I didn't finish it until today, which is March 2nd. So I'm just going to wrap it up in March. Yeah, that's just what I'm going to do. I thought about adding it to today's video, but we'll add it to March. I did also DNF a book. I ended up DNFing Not So Pure and Simple by Lamar Giles. I was listening to this audiobook on Scribd, and then like it just stopped working and I couldn't finish it. I got like 150 pages in, and to be perfectly honest, like I wasn't hating the book, but I wasn't loving it enough to read it physically, read the rest of it physically. So I just kind of was like, well, if I can't listen to it on Scribd, like I couldn't get the audiobook any other way without like buying it on Audible. I was kind of just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not like super invested in the story, so I'm going to temporarily DNF it. I actually just tried a few days ago to see if the audio would work again, and it's not. So I am DNFing this. Like I said, there was nothing like wrong with it. I just really wasn't invested, and not being able to listen to it kind of made me not really want to pick it up physically. So yeah, so I DNF'd this. Then I completed 5 books this month. I think I already said that. I'm a little bit like out of it, so sorry if I'm repeating myself. So we're just going to go through and talk about the 5 books that I finished. So let's hop right into it. So the first book that I finished in February was Stormfront by Jim Butcher. I did a group read with Tia at Tia and All the Books, Angie at Literary Labors. There were a couple other people that kind of like jumped in and out of the group read. I gave this, what did I give this? I gave this 4 stars. This was technically a reread for me. I read this like way back in college, like 10 years ago. Was it 10 years ago? Probably about 10 years ago. And I mean, but I didn't remember like anything about it going into it. Just that I had read it at some point and that I didn't remember hating it. So I decided to reread it when Tia mentioned that she was reading it and had a group read going for it. So I really love Harry Dresden, who is the main character. He's a wizard, and he kind of like has a detective agent. He has like a detective like PI type agency, and he also works with the like police department in Chicago, like when they have like some weird things come up. Like there's this one officer who will have him come and like help investigate. And Harry Dresden has that personality that I love in my like male protagonist that Nelson DeMille writes really well, which is like kind of sarcastic and kind of smart assy. But Harry Dresden, like he's like sarcastic, but he also was like kind of a gentleman towards like the ladies in the book, which I liked as well. That was a nice twist to the standard like smart ass that I enjoy. So in this book, there's 2 different like investigations that Harry's working on. He's working on an investigation with the police department, and then this woman seeks his help to try and like figure out what's going on with her husband. And so the entire book, you're kind of like, are these two cases going to like cross paths, or are they two completely separate stories? And so you kind of follow both of those investigations with Harry Dresden, and there's magic and there's like dark magic. And overall, I really enjoyed it. There were some like elements that I wasn't as much of a fan of. But it didn't like detract too much from the story for me. And I will probably continue the series at some point. Who knows when? I don't own any of the other books in the series, so I'll have to either buy them or check them out from my library. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. So next I read A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I buddy read this with Amanda at her Pacific Northwest Washington life. This is one of the books that John had challenged me to read this year, and I enjoyed this as well. I gave this 4 stars. This, if you don't know what this is about, there's basically 4 Londons. You have Red London, Gray London, White London, and Black London, and you follow Kel, who is able to travel. He's one of like 2 people that can travel between all of the Londons. And he ends up smuggling something from one London to another London, and it ends up unleashing like this whole series of events that is just really fun to read about. I really enjoyed it. I thought like the whole kind of magic system was pretty easy to follow. I feel like V.E. Schwab does a really good job of like describing the Londons and like what each London does, and like how people travel, or how Kel travels between the Londons, and why the Londons are like separated. I just feel like she set it up and did a really good job of explaining everything really well. It wasn't really confusing. There was a decent amount of setup at the beginning, just explaining all of the Londons, but once you really got into the story, like it read really, really quickly, and I'm really excited to continue the series. So Amanda, if you want to continue the series and buddy read the rest of them, let me know, because I would love to do that with you. All right, then I picked up Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman. My mom actually brought this with her because my library still does not have this, and I really wanted to like continue on with the story. Guys, this is like 5 stars. I think I've said when I've wrapped up the other 2 volumes, like I love Nick and Charlie. I think their relationship is just the sweetest, and I love like reading their story. I loved this one because you also got to know some of their friends better, and like their friends' relationships, which I really enjoyed. So in this one, Nick and Charlie go on like a class trip to Paris. And so you're just like exploring Paris with them, and they're now kind of dealing with how to come out to their friends and their family as a couple. Why can I not remember which one? Nick, sorry, I was like, which one who is it? So Nick has like not even really come out to like his family as being bisexual. Charlie's already like out to his family, his friends, his school. And so Charlie's trying to help Nick, have the confidence to come out to his family and friends, and then also come out as like a couple with Charlie. And just those kind of struggles, and how are people going to like react to this. I just thought like Nick and Charlie are always just so supportive of each other, and I love them as a couple. They're just, I love them. Cannot wait for Volume 4, which I think comes out this year. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it comes out this year. But love them. Love these graphic novels. So highly recommend. All right, then the only historical fiction book that I got to this month, which I'm slightly bummed that I didn't get to more, but it's okay. But I read Eliza Hamilton by Susan Holloway Scott. I gave this 4 stars. This book follows Eliza Schuyler as she meets and then like gets to know and falls in love with Alexander Hamilton. And it's basically like from them meeting to her, does it go? I don't know. I think it doesn't go to her death. It goes to his death. And then like there's an afterword that talks about Eliza Hamilton the rest of her life. So it follows like their entire life and marriage, all of that, and the struggles that Eliza faced being Alexander Hamilton's wife. And like, you know, it wasn't easy. Like she knew that Alexander was like kind of had these goals in life and that he was going to do whatever he needed to do to like meet those goals, and whether like, and she was like, and she had concerns as to whether like it would be at the expense of their relationship or their family, and kind of those struggles within their marriage, because he would not settle for anything less than what he wanted. And just all of these events in history, like through the Revolutionary War, through him like kind of having his political career, his law career. It was a really interesting read. I feel like it read really quickly. I mean, it's a fairly long book. It was over 400 pages, and then like the font's not exactly small. But I feel like it read really easily. Like it was told, like it was a first person like perspective, like she's telling us her story. So I really enjoyed the writing style. I enjoyed the story. I thought it was very interesting. I learned some stuff that I hope is all true. I hope that everything in here was historically accurate. So I know Susan Holloway Scott has written at least one other book that was like, yeah, about Aaron Burr's wife. So I'm really excited to maybe try some more of her because I really did enjoy the writing style. And then the last book that I completed this month is A Pairing to Die For by Kate Lansing. This is book 2 in the Colorado Wine Mystery series. Book 1 was Killer Chardonnay, which I read last year. I didn't even realize this was out. I was at my library and was like, just like, oh, let me quickly look at the new books. And I turned around and this was sitting on the shelves and I was like, oh, I have to read this. So, I gave this 4.5 stars. Really, really love this. I'm really enjoying this series so far. So this follows Parker Valentine, who we obviously meet in book 1. She owns a winery called Vino Valentine, and she is in a partnership with her boyfriend Reed, who has just opened a new restaurant, and he purchases her wine to serve at his restaurant. And she ends up meeting Reed's family. So Reed's family is in town and she's meeting them for the first time, and the meeting doesn't go well. And while they're at the restaurant and she's meeting the family, one of Reed's sous chefs, who also is an old friend of his, comes out to the table. There's like this weird encounter, and then the next thing we know, this guy ends up dead, and Reed is arrested for the murder because the murder weapon was one of Reed's chef's knives. And Parker is determined to get Reed out of jail because like the detectives are like, this is an open and shut case. Like Reed was a killer. There's a witness that saw him. It was his knife was the murder weapon. Like, and Parker's like, no, he did not. He's not capable of doing this. And so she tries to get Reed's family to help, like, get him out of jail, at least like post bail, all of that. And like his family is not being helpful in the least. And so she's trying to solve the crime so that Reed is released. And it's a good time. I love all the wine references in here. All of the, the things that you learned about the winemaking process. I love wine. I love cozy mysteries. So when you can combine the two, like obviously I'm going to love it. So had a really good time with this. I'm enjoying the series so far. Looking forward to continuing the series when a new book is released. So those are the 5 books I finished in the month of February. hopefully, you know, I can kind of get back into the swing of things now that I have kind of learned little man's sleep schedule a little bit better. I'm finding more time to sit and read when he is sleeping and I'm not also sleeping. So hopefully the rest of the year kind of goes a little bit better than February did. But again, I didn't expect anything less. So yeah, let me know down below how your February went. What did you read? What was your favorite book of the month? Mine was Heartstopper, Volume 3. Let me know all those things down below. That is it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.